my ear to the ground regarding the radio, but it's been a little bit scratchy, so it's been a bit difficult to try and work out exactly what's going on, but as soon as I do get a bit more information, I'll let you know. So I'm going to throw it out to you guys. Who knows what bird this is? Get your brains working. See who comes back with the answer first. Hashtag Safari Live if you know the answer. And is it male or female? Or are they male or female in the shot? They are very, very pretty birds actually. And again, it's one of those that they're quite common. You usually hear them quite a lot. And it can be quite easy to overlook them because they are so common, but sometimes it is nice just to sit and appreciate them, especially in this light. Cenac. Kestrel fox. The first back saying it's a Francolin. Copy that, thank you very much. So just getting an update, so it came through very clear at that point. So, right with Francolin, but what type of Francolin? And where... And what were they? Were they male or female? So who's going to come back with the right answer? Christy with Crested, well done. Christy with the Crested. They were indeed very, very pretty birds. So, the update on this leopard, I'm not sure who it is. I think they've lost sight, which is what keeps happening this afternoon. But anyway, there is a vehicle. I'll see if we can get an update from the vehicle. Not the vehicle, the guide in the vehicle. I can see some of you were thinking, what? She's going to talk to the vehicle? Hello! Hi! How you doing? Hi, thank you! Oh, it's good to be back. Yeah. It's amazing. It still hasn't quite sunk in yet. So, the leopard, has it gone?
He was on the edge of on he's moved kind of southwest, so we're hoping, Rex is sitting on the drainage line hoping that he comes out onto the drainage line. He was heading...
Oh, okay. Brilliant.
So maybe you guys will be able to see him.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Who was it?
Hosanna.
Hosanna. Okay, that's a new name for me.
Yeah,
so.
One of Karula's 2 cubs. So
her last litter.
Yeah.
Okay, oh brilliant. Oh, that'd be really nice. Catch up with them. So yeah. Yeah, fingers crossed. So nice to see you again. See you. Okay. So a little bit of update there. So Hosanna, was that right? So one of Karula's cubs, Hosanna. Which means little chief. Oh, I bet he was quite a handful when he was a cub then. To get that name. So whenever a leopard gets a name, it's usually based on the personality of the cub, and it's usually the person that finds the cubs, they get the privilege of naming them. So we'll see if Rexon, some of you will know the name Rexon. He used to be presenting for Wild Earth. He was actually way before me as well, so he's one of the proper originals. See if we get any luck relocating. So she was saying that the leopard Hosanna was actually moving southwest, which would be this way. Let's see if we do have any luck. Hello! How are you? Good to see you. Hello! I am just for 2 weeks. Yeah, but good to see you. So how's that Ingwe?
On the deep, we just wait for the...
Somewhere here?
Huh?
Somewhere here?
No.
Oh.
There on the main road.
On the main road?
Yeah, on the river.
Ah.
It was moving on the eastern part, but there's another leopard coming from Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it will come from Voyatella access. I'm gonna wait there.
On Voyatella access?
Yeah,
oh, okay. Sharp. Thank you. Okay, so Wrexham was saying in the drainage line here that there's potentially something else going on Voyatella access. So we're going to see if there's any sign of Kusana here. Ah! Awesome. Rise up. Rise up saying it was a male and female. So that was correct. There was the female with the brown cap and the male with the black cap. Well done. Nicely spotted there. So let's see if we do have luck with Kusana, one of Karula's cubs. So this must be Karula's 5th litter. If I've got that right. I'm sure you guys at home will be able to tell me if I'm wrong. So I'm just wondering if we should try this little 2-track here. Good afternoon, Tattoo. Welcome on board this afternoon. Tattoo wanting to know how far a leopard can wander. Well, it depends on the area the leopard's from, how hungry the leopard is, if the leopard has cubs. So there's a lot of different variables. Oh, there's a Dacre, and the Dacre hasn't said anything. Oh, they could do a dive. So yeah, in the Sabi sands, the leopards tend to have much smaller territory because there's quite a higher density of leopards here. So the females tend to have about a 2,000 hectare territory or core area, because they will actually go beyond their defended boundaries and hunt and utilise the area surrounding it, so they're not just found in their core area, but that is the bit that they defend. Males here seem to have up to about 6,000 hectares. But then if you go over to the Cape, there's not as much prey, there's not as many leopards. They tend to have much larger territories, like triple, quadruple the size, if not more. So it really does depend on a lot of different circumstances. So I think we're going to have a little see if we can find any tracks from Kusana, and in the meantime we're going to head back with Byron and his flat cats, because I know he likes that.
Now these lions are still resting. No sign of activity just yet, but the temperature's starting to cool down. Now I know Tara's trying to look around for leopards. I'm just thinking that, you know, I don't know if these lions will meet up with the rest of the pride. But maybe we get some movement from them, not necessarily just from these two, but possibly the rest of the pride. And there were a lot of Nyala and a lot of Impala around this area. So if they are still around here, maybe we can find or hear some alarm calls and maybe find them. But it is wonderful to sit with these lions. especially if we think they're going to mate. Now that is something quite rare. It's not something that you see very often. So I think I'm going to sit around here a little bit longer and just see what actually unfolds and what happens. Because tomorrow, I mean, judging by the distance that these lions moved today from where they were this morning, they've actually covered quite a distance. I think they were near Chele Pan, if I'm not mistaken, this morning. And again, it's unusual for lions to move so far during the day when it is quite warm, but today was fairly cool. There was a cool breeze and quite cloudy. So that's possibly why they decided to move so far. Kimberly, you asking how long lions are pregnant for. So the gestation period for lionesses is about 110 days. So just over 3 months. That's about 110 days. And that's the gestation period of lions. And for leopards, it's actually a little bit less. It's about 90 days. So just on 3 months. So if this, as I said, if this mating is successful, if they do mate, we haven't seen them mating yet. Now I know we were talking about the scruff of her neck. Did it look like he had bitten her? I don't know. This female had a few scars on her neck. That could possibly be from previous mating encounters. But I don't know, it didn't look that fresh. Now, they don't often draw blood or anything. Occasionally there might be a nick here or there, but I don't know, it doesn't seem like it. And also, the thing with lions, when they do mate in the beginning, in the early stages, it's very frequent. It'll be every, sometimes 15, 20 minutes. During the day, it does, what's the word? Well, it does become less frequent, but then in the evenings again, the frequency will increase. Now, so it does taper off during the course of the day, but then later on it will then get more frequent. And then as the days go on, so by day 3, day 4, day 5, the period between each mating session will become a lot longer, until eventually the male decides to move off. And then if they are successful, the female will then go on, join the pride, and continue moving with the pride, hunting for about, like I said, about 110 days. And then she'll split away from the pride and she will go find a spot, an adequate den that she can hide the cubs in. And she will then give birth to those cubs. Usually rocky areas are great, or very dense thickets that are well hidden, not easily accessible by other animals. And she'll give birth. She'll keep the cubs there for anywhere between 1.5 months to 2 months before she'll start bringing them out the den, moving them around a little bit, potentially changing the den site too. And then eventually, in about 2.5 to 3 months, the cubs will probably be introduced to the pride, and the pride will then, or the females will still move around, hunt, and then go back and fetch the cubs and take them to the kill. That happens from 2 months onwards. 2 to 3 months, they'll start doing that, introducing the cubs to the pride. Chatty Meg, you were asking if the females keep coming into heat or into estrus if the mating is not successful, and yes, they will. So they'll come into estrus, and then if they're not successful, they'll come into estrus a lot sooner again. It's not a seasonal thing or once-off thing. They will keep coming into estrus or heat, as it were, just until they fall pregnant and until the mating is successful. So it can be any time of the year. That's why we were discussing what can happen at times if males from other coalitions or another dominant male comes in. If he finds cubs that are not his, young cubs, they will potentially kill them, and that will then, because the female isn't suckling and looking after cubs, she will then go into estrus a lot sooner, and that male will then be able to mate with the female. Courtney, what happens is if the female is in estrus, if she is ready to mate, the male, it's more their decision to move away from the pride. It's not a case of the pride pushing them out at all. What happens is the female will choose to move away, but it's also probably from pressure of the male being around, and he'll follow and stick with her, but it is usually the female's decision to move away from the pride until the mating is over, and then she'll return to the pride again. They don't get pushed out because they go into estrus. It sounds like Tara's driving around through the Muluwati, having a look for any sign of leopards. I hope she has a bit of luck this afternoon. It would be wonderful for her to find a leopard. We haven't really seen many leopards around the last few days, so hopefully. I'm really happy that we did find these lions, though. Francis, now that's an interesting question. If the female has mated, you wanted to know if she will accept another male to mate with her too. Yes, they will. Now the reason for that is often the females will basically give the males a false sense of security, or a false sense of not security necessarily, but a false sense that they are perhaps the fathers of those cubs. So it's not unusual and not uncommon for the females to mate with a number of males, and by doing so, they will ensure the safety of their young. So if these males come across the female, they'll recognize her scent, and they will then obviously assume that those cubs are theirs, because they know they have mated with her. So it's not unusual for a female to mate with 2 or 3 different males. Often a coalition, for example, the males will mate with the same female. But it usually occurs that the dominant one mates first. And I know Tara was touching on it too, why this male with the slightly golden mane has been mating with this female. Usually the darker maned lions are a bit more dominant, a bit more aggressive, and have a bit more testosterone. That's the theory, why they have got those darker manes. And the females then, well, it's not necessarily the females that choose. The dominant males will push the other males away, and they will get to mate first with the females, and then once they've finished, the other males will then be able to mate with that female. Or occasionally what happens is males may mate with different females. Charles, I'm not sure. I've never heard of males coming in and killing off offspring from females that they have mated with. I do think that it's the scent that they pick up on from the females that they've mated with. They recognize that scent. We know the Jacobson's organ in the back of the palate is a very sensitive organ, and they can pick up the scent on the females, and I mean it's so sensitive they can tell if the females are in estrus or not. So they'll probably use that to tell if those cubs are potentially theirs. It's a very sensitive organ. It's situated at the back of the palate. But like I say, Charles, I don't know. There might be instances where that has happened before. I'm not sure. I have never seen it though. I've never seen males that have mated with a pride come in and kill their offspring. Now, it sounds like Tara's made her way out of the Mulwati. Let's go across to her and find out how her leopard search is going.
Well, not so good. So we're trying to work out where they left Kosana. I think it was this little bit here. Because the last girl I spoke to, Shanae, she seemed to think he was on the east side of the Mulwati. So the Mulwati is this river line here. So they left the leopard somewhere over that side. But I thought I heard someone say that tracks had crossed over into Little Gary, and I'm just wondering if it was the tracks from Kosana. So I'm just going to go back. We've gone all the way along this riverbed and back again. We haven't seen any tracks, fresh tracks that have crossed. There were some not so fresh leopard tracks further up. So I'm not convinced he's crossed over here, but it might well be that he has crossed over south. So we're just going to check that out. If that's the case, then we shall change tact again and then try somewhere else. Maybe try a dam. Let's see if anything's going to come out to drink, because it is starting to cool down. There is a nice breeze now. You can see a few clouds building, and as it cools down, then you do start to get a little bit more movement from the cats. I am still actually amazed at how far the mating pair of lions has actually gone. I really wasn't expecting them to move as far as they did, but there you go. Just goes to show nature. It's so unpredictable at times, and that is what I love about it. Hi MD, welcome on board this afternoon. MD asking, does Bergman's rule apply to big cats in Africa? And you're gonna have to remind me. I don't know if I am familiar. I might be familiar, I might just have forgotten it. Fortunately, my grey matter is a little bit rusty. So if you could remind me of what Bergman's rule is, I might be able to tell you. There's plenty of tracks in Parla going that way. We did see a Dacre on the other side of the riverbed, not looking too concerned. Ah, so Bergman's rule apparently is lions that live in a colder climate will be bigger. So it's all to do with the heat and the surface area, and yeah, you could actually say that is correct. As the larger animals tend to hold heat because the surface area is actually a lot smaller. So something like
So it sounds like Tara just lost signal there quickly. We're still sitting with the lions, and it's nice that other guests also managed to get to see these lions too. Other vehicles around. As you know, there are a lot of lodges in the area that go on safari, and it's nice that they also get to enjoy the wildlife. We are in contact with them on the radio, and unfortunately we found the lions, so it was it's always nice. I must be honest, it's quite nice when you call things in and you say, oh, stations, we've just located a lion or a leopard. It boosts the ego a little bit. It kind of always makes me think, well, maybe as a guide we do know what we're doing sometimes. I must be honest, I still get a thrill and a lot of excitement from tracking and finding animals, like the other evening when we had tracks of that male lion, just the male, but we hung around the area and eventually we tracked and found the entire Nkuhuma pride, and that was very exciting for me. I really enjoyed that. George, I'm not sure about the lionesses, if they've ever had mange. I can't remember last year. We know the Styx Pride. Oh, sorry, Chantal, I do apologize. I heard the wrong name there. You asked if any of the lionesses have names like the males do. Oh, sorry, I really, sorry, Chantal, I cannot hear you, I do apologize. Yes. So, Chantal was asking, George, you asked, have any lionesses ever grown manes like the males have? And, George... So, interesting story. There was a lioness. I think there were actually two, but there was a lioness that got quite well known in Botswana, in the Okavango Delta, close to a concession, the Mombo concession. There was a lioness up in that area. Definitely a lioness that had grown a mane, and I actually saw this lioness in 2013. I got to see her, just about a full-grown mane. It caused a lot of confusion at times with the males. The males would act aggressively towards her until they picked up on her scent. Then they could tell she was female. But she did grow a mane, and it's quite unusual. We're not too sure what... I can't remember what the exact cause was. I think it was a gene that... basically a slightly stronger testosterone gene that caused her to grow a mane, but it is highly unusual, but it did happen in Botswana, and I did see a lioness with a mane, but I've never seen a lioness in South Africa or heard of a lioness in South Africa that's grown a mane. Beautiful golden light on that male now. Now, Tara has been fighting off the gremlins. I think she's got some experience with gremlins from the past, but she's fought them off now, so let's go across to her and see how her afternoon's going.
Oh, that is so true. But what's amazing is how much better the signal is nowadays. So there's still the gremlins in the odd corners, but definitely a lot better. So unfortunately, I think we're going to leave the area. I think possibly he has crossed over into Little Gowrie. I was hoping maybe I just missed the tracks and he might have been down here drinking. But I think not. So just going back to the Bergman's rule, so I do think it does work for the lions, because lions up in Namibia, where it can get even colder than it is here, the lions do tend to be slightly larger than the lions here, especially in Kruger, and even the leopards in my study area, they were definitely a lot larger than the leopards here. So male leopards, their foot size here, you're looking at maybe 80 at a push, maybe 90 millimeters or 9 centimeters. So that sort of size. The leopards back in Lydenburg, the males about 110 millimeters. So if this was the Kruger leopards and the Sabi Sands leopards, The leopard foot size, I can't even, my fingers don't even reach, but certainly a sizable difference. And it does get very cold in those mountains. Oh, we had frost on the ground as well during the winter. So certainly seeing the size difference there. The males were definitely looking around the 80, 85, 90 kilo for some of those big males. Oh, dwarf mongoose. Whereas the males here, I think, knocking around the 60, maybe 70 kilos. So I think that rule is applied. So thanks for bringing that one up. I'm hoping we still have signal. Can you see them through there? I love dwarf mongoose. They are so curious for such a small animal. So I'm hoping they'll actually be curious enough to come out. There we go. I've had dwarf mongoose come right up to the vehicle and investigate. I mean, the size of the vehicle compared to the smallest carnivore in South Africa. Hi Azir, welcome on board this afternoon. Asking if mongoose would die from poisonous snakes. And if they get bitten, yes they can. I don't really hear of dwarf mongoose taking on venomous snakes, but certainly the very famous meerkat, who is a member of the mongoose family. And you also get the banded mongoose taking on snakes. As I say, I've not really heard the dwarf mongoose going after cobras and things like that, but never say never. They are quite a curious little creature, and whatever they can get their teeth and claws into, they will definitely have a go at. They've actually got very long claws for such a small animal as well, and that really helps them with the digging. You can see that one digging for something, and obviously, especially this time of year, the ground is going to be extremely hard. It's almost like concrete in places, where it's all compacted down and dried out. Just realised that the rest of the group's gone, I think. Yeah, I think they're slowly making their way back to a termite mound. Just picking up any last minute snacks along the way. Hi JR, welcome on board this afternoon, and asking if it's difficult to get back in the mind of a tracker after so long. Believe it or not, I have been trying to use my skills back in the UK, which is extremely difficult because you get a lot of dog tracks and walkers and bicycle tracks all over the show, so it's not always easy to find tracks of animals, unfortunately, but the odd one or two have been able to find. But it's getting into the mindset of the animals, and ever since I was 16, I've been working with animals in captivity to begin with, and that was where I really started understanding the subtleties of animal behaviour, and especially with rhino. There is some amazing animal behaviour that I just would never have picked up had I've come straight into being a guide. So I'm really grateful for the days that I had with the captive animals and just learning those, as I say, subtle behaviours. But trying to work out where the animals are likely to go, and actually knowing the area and the favourite pathways of animals really does help. But as I say, sometimes they do have a mind of their own, and sometimes they won't go where you think that they're going to go. So the elephants did pop out roughly where I thought they would, but then you second guess yourself and go, well, maybe even though they're going that way, they might decide that they want to go for water. So you're trying to work in all these factors as well. So it's just trying to get back into the swing of that. And I say, trying to piece together bits of information from everybody else as well. It's all part and parcel of it. So we're heading up Twin Dams. We're going to go past Chelapan and maybe all the way up to Gowrie Dam. See how Gowrie Dam is doing. I haven't heard anything else about the Voyatella axis. Cross back to Byron. I'll see you again soon.
Alright, now things are starting to unfold here, everybody. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but we'll see if we can get a view, because look what has decided to move into this area. Sorry, a bit of an awkward angle for Senzo, but there are some wildebeest. Well done, Senzo, thank you. I didn't want to move. I'm not sure if they've spotted these lions yet. I don't think so. But also don't know if they can smell them. But you see, they're very cautious. Now, there might be a chance that they smell them. But the lions haven't noticed these wildebeest yet. Okay, now we're just going to sit here quietly. You know what I might do, everyone, is I might drive away. I'll tell you why. It's because I don't want the wildebeest to move in a different direction because we are parked here. So let me move away quickly. So with me driving away, maybe the wildebeest decide to come back or to come in the direction of the lions. Let's have a look. I'm going to keep my distance here. They're walking straight towards the lions, everyone. This could potentially get quite interesting. Let's see what happens. Like I said, I don't want to interfere with something that might happen. These wildebeest could possibly smell the lions and decide to run off. See those two younger wildebeest off to the right? You can see the horns still facing straight up, but inexperienced. And they might move straight towards the lions. But you can see they're very, very cautious. Look at that. Now look at that now. This lioness is up. I don't think she's noticed the wildebeest yet. She may have heard something. Now their sense of hearing is very, very good, especially while they are resting like that. We think they are asleep, but I guarantee you they are completely aware and alert of what's going on around them. Wow, how's that? Those wildebeest spotted that male immediately. You see just that movement behind the bush. Even though they're behind the bush, they obviously saw or picked up on something. They picked up on the movement of that lion behind that bush. That's unfortunate. Well, let's keep watching this lioness, see what she does. There we go. Starting to hear alarm calls now from the wildebeest. Oh, that is so unfortunate. You could just see them running off. That was exciting though. And you see what I'm saying about spending time with the lions, and you never know. But like I said, being close to water, chances of something walking into these lions are pretty good. But it just shows you how alert all these other animals are. They're always very cautious and very alert, especially when that sounded like an elephant. especially when approaching water, because they know occasionally predators do hang around water holes, and the animals are vulnerable when they go down to drink. They don't want to be chased into the mud or anything, so they're always very, very careful. It was amazing that they picked up on that male as soon as he lifted his head. They saw him. But they were facing. I'm sure they picked up on his smell, because the wind is blowing kind of in that direction. You can see the bit of a breeze. You can see the leaves moving in the wind there now. Sure, I thought we were in for some action there. It could have gone either way. It could have gone either way. Terry, no, I'm not sure. And this lioness looks very hungry. I think I don't think they choose mating over a meal. I think lions are so opportunistic. If there's food, they'll go for food first. I have seen mating pairs of lions often hunt and kill and feed together and then carry on mating. And it looks like this lioness, you can see that just the back part of the stomach sunken in there. That's a clear sign that she is quite hungry. You see that? Just below the hip. He does look a little hungry. Oh, nice stretch. I wonder if she's going to make her way down to have a drink. She could also potentially just change positions and lie down again. We know the lions do that. There we go. Robert, I like that. You say if your food ran away like that, you'd be in much better shape. I agree, Robert. Imagine we all had to run after our food. Jeez, we'd all be in seriously good shape. We'd all look like James Hendry. James will be pleased with that little comment, I think. James is very, very fit. James is the wild dog of the Safari Live crew. Senzo has almost fallen off the vehicle. He's laughing so much. It's because James is slender and quite fast, and he's a long distance runner, old James. So he's definitely the wild dog of the group. Alright, well, let's move back to Tara. She's doing some birding now, it sounds like, and she's found a raptor. Let's go see what it is.
Now, how did he know that? So yes, we have a raptor for you. Again, Eagle Eye Craig on the back. I'm definitely appreciating his eyes this afternoon. And you might be able to hear the squirrel giving an alarm call, and that the eagle's actually looking at it. So I'm going to throw this one open as well. Why not? Hashtag Safari Live. What bird is this? Can you ID it? You can hear some babblers calling off to the right. There was actually a grey go away bird going, oh well. The squirrel is not happy because obviously this bird is very close. Oh, it might be taking off shortly. And when they toilet, that's usually a sign that they're going to take off. Now that crop looks very full. It looks a bit awkward actually with that crop. So they actually toilet just to lose a bit of weight before they fly, but maybe he's decided against it. Now, quite often you'll see this particular bird in a pair, and they will work together to hunt. So I do wonder where the other bird is. I can't see the squirrel though, I can only hear it. Sphinx saying martial eagle. And you'd be right in thinking along those lines, but unfortunately you don't get the size scale. It's not big enough to be the martial, and also they tend to have a lot more black around the chest. But nice try. There we go. Perfect, spot on, riser. It is an African hawk eagle. And yeah, timed that well, didn't we? Just as it flew off. I thought I heard a bark. Did you hear a bark? No? I thought I heard a bark over there, but maybe not. Just trying to listen out again. So we had the kudu down there earlier, and kudu give this real sort of almost from the stomach bark. It's like a dog. It's like bah! If it's alarming. And I thought that's what I heard, and the kudu were down there. But it could just be one of those. It might have been my imagination, possibly. But maybe it is worth us doing another lap around Treehouse Dam just in case something pops out there. We were going to head up to Quarantine and up past Galago Shortcut, but as I say, none of my plans have been going well today. So maybe it is worth going around to the Treehouse Dam. You never know. Let's try that. The squirrel's gone quiet now because the bird's flown off. And again, the squirrel just giving that alarm call saying, hey, I've seen you, you can't sneak up on me. So don't even bother trying. And it's so amazing to me. These animals are so small and yet they've got such a big voice. But again, they can lead you down the garden path, so I don't always listen to them. I had one squirrel was giving an alarm call. It was really going for it. I thought, oh great, there's something around. And it was looking below it. And just below it was a gecko. Olivia, oh welcome back. And I do remember talking to you last time about zebra. Oh, it's great to hear that you're on board this afternoon. Welcome back. And actually, on that point, some of you might have been on drive with me this morning, and I was talking about zebra, and I had it in my head, the Grevies, but I actually called it the Chapmans, so apologies for that. Suddenly realised so I had the image of that zebra. Actually, we'll carry on round. I had the image of that zebra in my head, but as I say, unfortunately, as the age-old adage goes, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I haven't spoken about zebra in a very long time. So you guys also, you didn't correct me. So you're going to keep you on your toes as well. You've got to check up. So yeah, it was the Grevies. And actually, we were talking about the subspecies, so I wondered where the extra 10 came in. So I thought it was around the 8 or 9, but apparently it's 10 subspecies, and it's split between 3 species. So you have the plains, you have the Grevies, and you have the mountain. And within the plains, that's where the main bulk of the subspecies come from. And apparently there's a maneless zebra, which I've not heard of before. So that's been quite interesting. Okay, well here's the kudu. They don't seem to be too bothered, so maybe it was my imagination. Wishful thinking. But great to hear it from you, Olivia. Hello, ladies. Very graceful. And she looks a little bit stiff on that front right leg. And they've got quite long necks really for the size of the body. So you can see there's a lump at the back, and that's a nuchal lump. And that will actually help to counterbalance the weight of the head, and especially in the males, you see it's quite a lot larger, and that's to counterbalance the horns. There's nice spiral horns, and they can weigh quite a lot, and sitting on top of the head like that, you're going to have that big muscle at the back to counterbalance it. Same with the rhinos, they have that to counterbalance that huge head. That is very pretty, the sunset. I wonder if we can actually see it through a clearing as we head down towards Treehouse Dam, in the hope of maybe finding some cats this afternoon. Can we see it through there? Not as, I think I must have missed the spectacular part of it, but still absolutely beautiful. Every cloud has a silver lining. Pisces Bobby, it is so beautiful. And it is pretty quiet. I'm hoping the lions might start calling for us. That's also magical, to feel it through your body. Oh, absolutely amazing. Very, very special. So, speaking of calling, you never know, we might be lucky. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, Byron, and see if you can work some magic on those lions.
Oh, I don't know. These lions seem to be very, very relaxed for the moment. The female changed positions, but lay down again, as you saw earlier. But a lovely view that Senzo had of the clouds. Sorry, Senzo. Senzo shouting at me. A lovely view of those clouds. Beautiful afternoon or early evening. Starling up at the top of the tree. Look at that beautiful pink in the clouds. I'm torn at the moment. I don't know if we should just move on and see what we can find. I may do that. I may give it another 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Let's say 5 minutes. I'll give it 5 minutes. See if these lions are going to do anything. If anything, they'll probably move down to the dam to go and drink. And then at least you can all still see it on the dam cam. But we'll have a look. I don't know. I must be honest, these situations are quite tough, because I never know if it's worth moving and leaving the lions, because we've been patient and usually our patience pays off. I know Tara's driving around though, so maybe we sit here for a while. I'm basically thinking out loud now, everyone, so I do apologize. There's a nice yawn. Oh, bit of saliva there. Well, as we know, yawning is a good sign. It's often a sign that they may potentially start waking up and get up and move around. So let's see, because as soon as that lioness starts moving, that male will be up and he'll follow her, without a doubt. So let's see what happens. Maybe you've joined us at the perfect time. Looks like she's getting a bit more active. I think some flies are bothering her over there. That could also cause her to get up and move. See the tail flicking constantly, trying to get the flies off of her. That's a beautiful lioness. Douglas, as I mentioned earlier, with the lions, when they sleep, they never fully asleep. They do doze off and they do sleep, and I've actually even heard male lions snoring before. I guarantee you, I'm not making it up. I have heard male lions snoring, and even though it is asleep in a state of rest, they are still aware of what's going on around them, because I've seen lions resting or sleeping, and impala run past and they were up in a flash and killed an impala. They definitely still hear what's going on around them, and they'll pick up on the scent or the smell of anything close by. I mean, even these lions, they were resting, and I don't know if they heard the wildebeest. I think they did. They must have heard the wildebeest walking in the distance or behind the tree, because both of them lifted their heads and they looked in that direction. So it's incredible how... There's another yawn. That's a good sign. Let's see what happens. Let's see if she decides to get up and move. Who knows? Maybe this is what we've been waiting for. For her to get up, start moving, and the male follow and perhaps try and mate with her. This could get interesting. So I think I'm going to sit around for a while longer. Let's see. I hope I'm right. There we go. There we go. Now let's see. Okay, there she goes. She might give a little stretch there. I'll watch the male. He's probably going to get up shortly. Is he going to move? No, let's just see. Is this lioness going to go all the way down to the dam, or is she going to stop somewhere and lie down again? I'm not going to wait to find out. I'm going to drive down there and just see. That male, I'm sure, is going to get up soon. And I think there's a little gap down there, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Senzo, that lioness is just out there. I'm not sure if that male did get up. I don't think so just yet. Let's see what this lioness does. Will she go down and drink? Now, last night we had the entire pride here. The whole pride were down at the dam at about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. They were down, and then we're not entirely sure which direction they went. The male is on his way. I can't see him now. He's just behind this little bush thicket just off to my right there. There we go. You just saw him move. Now, where is this lioness going? Because I don't think there's water there. There's two male in Nyala. Look at that, well spotted, Senzo. Two male in Nyala in the distance displaying. But I don't know where this lioness is going. So those male in Nyala are busy displaying at the moment. Look at that in Nyala dance. They're moving around, circling one another. We've seen that a number of times before. And the winner will then, it's basically just a dominance display. Try to show that they bigger and stronger than the other one, or I suppose just rather bigger, and then the loser will then move off. Occasionally they do fight though. I have seen them display like that and then fight. That lioness has just seen them. We've got a perfect spot to view them from across here. Now this lioness is just in front of Vuyatela camp. I wonder where she's going though. But look how, and the other thing is that these Nyala might be so focused on one another, they might not realize the lioness is potentially showing interest in hunting them. Let's see, this could go. This is wonderful. I see the male has hung back. He's not disturbing her, so he's still lying down in the long grass in front of us. Let's stay with the female for now. But you can see she's definitely stalking. Those male Nyala are still displaying. Oh, this could get very interesting, everyone. She's stalking. She's not far from them. Luckily, we've got a perfect spot here. We can see across a clearing. And she must be about 60 or 70 meters away from them. Maybe more. Maybe 80 meters away. It's not too far. But she will still have to get much, much closer. Wow, this is amazing. Very exciting. I really hope she's lucky. I think she's been spotted by one Nyala already. There's 3 male Nyala there actually. And some impala. So there's actually a lot in that clearing across, but I can't see where that lioness is now. No, there she is. Wow, she's very, very close. Everyone, this could get interesting. She's not too far. Those males are still completely engrossed in one another, focused on each other. Oh, come on. Now, I'm not sure. You know, we never support either predator or prey, but a part of me would like this lioness to get something to eat because she does look a bit hungry. But we will see how it unfolds. Last night, we know these lions, well, this lioness doesn't look like she was lucky with the kill. She's sitting down. Now, they are patient hunters, but I wonder why she isn't trying to stalk a little bit closer, unless she's decided she might not be able to stalk any closer. See, the thing is, she's still got quite a distance to go. Now, big open space. The other thing is, if you notice, the corner of the camp fence is basically directly in her line of sight now. So I wonder if she thinks she's unable to get around there. No, there she goes again. There she goes again. See, the other thing is, I wonder, you see that lioness, she's a little bit nervous. I'll tell you why. The staff members just outside of Vuyatela, and that's why she keeps turning and looking back. But let's see. Senzo, I wonder if... Oh, no, do I move or don't I? I'll tell you what, I'm going to move a little bit. If she does get up and start moving again, then I'll stop. But let's just for now, let me try to get across the dam here quickly. Still sitting behind us. Sorry, a bit bumpy here. Okay, just going to get up and out here quickly. Hello everyone. Some other people are also out on safari at the moment. Now, like I said, we don't want to disturb them in any way, so I'm just going to... For some reason, Wendy's making a little noise now. Not sure what that's from. Doesn't sound very healthy. Let's have a look. Can we still see that lioness? We can. We've got a clear view of her straight ahead. Just to the left a bit, Senzo. Left. There we go. There she is. Now those Nyala are still around there. Same spot, they haven't moved yet. But I think... Trying to see what else is disturbing this lioness. She seems okay, she's still focused on the Nyala. Chantal, would you like to just give me Rashni's question again, please? Rashni, so within the coalition, you were speaking about the dominance now of the coalition. The dynamic generally, from what I've seen, it remains right through until those lions eventually die of either natural causes or being pushed out by other lions. But once it's been established, the one will remain dominant right through until they get challenged and pushed out or killed. Excuse me, but... So Rashni, yeah, that's generally dynamic within coalitions, within the hierarchy. There's one that has been established, and he will be more dominant than the others. And then, unless he is challenged or killed, that hierarchy will remain. There we go. Let's watch her. Look at her stalking, head down. Now also, it's getting a bit darker. And those Nyala are moving away from her through the thicket. So all that means is it might be a bit easier. Now there's Impala and Nyala there. Wow, look at her, so focused. Closing that gap at the moment. Now this is the section that we said might be a bit tricky, very open, crossing the road. Look at that. Oh, she's very close now, everyone. Very close. You might in fact... Oh, you see how she just dropped? Be looking around to see where those other Nyala moved off to. There's still one Nyala straight ahead of her. You might see, there it is. There we go. And the Impala, but the Impala I think have just spotted her. If you just look to the left, look at that. See, that female could potentially give her position away. This is quite tense now. Just shows you at times, especially in these areas, if you do want to see lions stalking or potentially hunting, it takes a lot of patience. And I'm so glad we decided to stay with these lions. It can take a lot of time, and there's nothing to say that she is going to be successful now with this hunt. But we never know. If those Nyala still move around there, she may be able to stalk. And the reason why I keep saying the Nyala is because the impala do seem, or that one female has definitely picked up on her. But with those Nyala still moving around, and there was at least 3 that I saw, and she looks even closer to the Nyala than she is to the impala. So if she manages to launch herself out, especially with the Nyala moving towards that thicker area, it might be a bit easier for her to hunt in there, or to stalk even closer. But she's done amazingly well to get that far already. The male hasn't moved, everyone. He's still lying on the other side of the dam. We won't show you him now. We can't really see him from here, but he's still lying on the other side of the dam and waiting patiently. Who was it? I think it was Beck saying romantic night out or date night, potential moonlit dinner. Maybe Beck, maybe, who knows. She spotted something else now. Oh, there's an impala behind her, but the impala's seen her too. Now this could give her position away. No, that impala's already running off. No chance of hunting that impala. She should have stuck with the Nyala, I think. Maybe she decides to turn around and still... No. She's going the wrong way. But how amazing is this? Right outside camp. All those impala are running off now. They've spotted her. I'm surprised they didn't alarm call though. Very surprised they didn't alarm call. Alright, well, we'll hang around here a little bit longer and see if there's any change, and if she does focus on something else. But while we do that, let's head across to Taru. It sounds like she's found some elephant.
Good afternoon. Welcome back, everybody. And look what we found. We finally found a herd of elephants that aren't on the move rapidly. I did hear just before we went live that deep grumbling, which tends to suggest that they are going to be moving on. And I think who seems to be the matriarch is keen to move on, so I think she's going to wait for everybody to catch up. But then moving at quite a leisurely pace. Quite a small family group. So we're going to see if we can cut round in front of them. We'll see how they go. There's a young bull, I say young bull, sort of teenager, maybe late teens, early 20s. Seems to be a little bit older than what I would expect to be with the family. But they, they'll come back and visit. There we go. Just through there. So he was not too sure about us. And also Mother stood in the middle of the road and just lifted a trunk and had a smell of us as well. I don't know if you picked that up, but there was the deep grumble again. And that's the mother of the baby that's calling. And I think she is the matriarch, even though she's slightly smaller than the other two elephants. But elephant society is quite complex, and I think the more we learn about elephants, the more we realise they're quite complex. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the mother and the baby. That might be a little bit clearer. There she is, yeah. We actually had the baby trying to suckle. I think it's trying now, actually. So the matriarch will generally be the female that's got the most experience, but it's almost done as a voting system. So you can get some of the larger herds sort of breaking up when a matriarch dies, and if there's some elephants that think one female should be the matriarch and some elephants think the other female should be a matriarch, you can actually get a split where they'll actually follow the different females. So it's who they actually trust as well, and the matriarch doesn't always make the decisions. She'll suggest things, and it's up to the herd if they want to follow her or not. And it seems to be, as I say, the female at the back, just behind the one that's on your screen, the one with the baby, she seems to be suggesting to move on, but the rest of the herd seem to be quite happy at browsing. So she's trying to make the suggestion, but they're not really taking it on board. So I think that's possibly why they're still milling around here a bit. Now, we're not putting a spotlight on the elephants because it's not really a good thing to do. Ah, and welcome to Kiana, a new viewer. Good afternoon. Well, she should say good evening now, shouldn't I? But welcome on board. I hope you're enjoying your first safari. Seeing the largest land mammal in the world, the African elephant. And it's just so peaceful. Chilling out with them. You'd like to know if this is actually a reserve or if these animals wild. Well, it is actually a reserve, but these animals are wild as well, because this reserve is part of the Great Kruger National Park, and the whole area is about 2 million hectares, which is about the size of Israel or Wales. So it's like a small country. So these animals are free to roam. There's no fences here on the private section of the Greater Kruger National Park. It's known as the Sabi Sands. So all the fences were dropped around the 1960s, so that animals could actually move freely. And like I was saying earlier about the genes, it's very important that animals aren't isolated in small areas, because it really does need, they really do need to have a lot of variety in their genes, so it helps them as a species to stay strong and combat diseases and things like that. So the decision was made to drop the fences to allow the movement between the different populations. And obviously elephants need a large area, so if you coop them up into small reserves, they'll very soon destroy all the vegetation. Oh, lovely. So it sounds like Byron's actually managed to get in front of the Lioness, so we're going to cross to Byron and get a nice view of the Lioness for you.
I have indeed. Now this Lioness has come out. I drove around quickly. It sounded like that male actually just decided to call, but I wasn't sure because there's a lot of animals around here. And there's also a herd of elephant behind us. So it's all happening here at the moment. the reason why I want to stick with this lioness is because there's, as I said, we're approaching the clearings, and I saw a whole herd of wildebeest. There's impala around there. There's a lot of wildlife in this area. And let's see how these elephants react if they see or smell the lion. Now the lion's actually heading straight towards the DRC. So ladies in the final control. I'll let you know when to look out the window. You might just end up seeing a lion. Hold on a second, let me put the spotlight on there for you, Senzo. There we go. Listen, she's contact calling. Hold on. Alright, I'm just going to move past these Ellies. They're a little bit upset with us, so I do apologize, everyone. Elephant are not happy. Now I wonder. Like I say, she's right outside our camp. They've managed to close the gate already. The staff already heard. Oh dear, see some of the staff. It just shows you, everyone, there are some staff gates in that, but some of you wonder how close we get to nature and the wildlife. And this is a great example. This lioness is right outside camp. And guess what, everyone? She's approaching James's tent. It's a pity we didn't have James in the tent. We'll watch him close the flaps as the lioness walks past. Where is she? She's still walking through here. Oh dear, oh, it's all happening. Spotlight, lion, radio. Hold on a second. Go ahead, Henry, go ahead. Henry, the lioness has moved. She's basically now at the entrance to the DRC, the research camp. She's still mobile in a westerly direction. The male, we left him at the dam itself. Henry, at this stage, there are two. I think there were a few others showing interest. Maybe just get hold of Ralph. I think he was listening to the radio while I was live. So, listen, everyone. This lioness is now calling a little bit. Listen to this. Hold on. And she is exactly going in front of the. What is it? Larica, you asked, how does it feel having a lioness stalking so close to camp? It feels great. It's exciting, I think. Now, we might lose her. She's going down towards a drainage line. Hey, how's this multitasking, everyone? So exciting. She's literally in front of the tent. We may even see the tent shortly. But she's... Okay, listen. I think we're going to hear her. Where did she go now? As I said, now this section over here is quite thick, and she's approaching the drainage line. And I wouldn't be surprised if this lioness meets up with the rest of the pride later. Just Trying to see if we do get another view of her. I'm going to wait here. Other vehicles on the other side. Oh, there she is. I got it. There she is. There we go. Just as I thought, moving down through the drainage line. Just... It sounds like that male is calling down at the dam. I can hear him calling at the moment. What an and I'm sure some of you can see that male lion on the dam cam. You can probably hear him clearly. Isn't this wonderful? Isn't this amazing? What a great afternoon. Saw quite a lot, and to spend time with these lions. We're going to be closing off shortly. Where is she? Scrubby was close. Scrubby just ran out in front of her. Now, everyone, I really hope you've enjoyed the drive with us. Just hold on a second. Ralph, if you copy, she's just come out onto via tele-access. There we go. Contact calling again. Listen to this. The lion will do that because she wants to try to find the rest of the... Sure, that vehicle's got its lights flashing. Anyway, what an amazing drive. Thank you to Tara and of course Craig and Senzo on camera with me, and thank you to the ladies in the final control. I really hope you've all enjoyed this with us. It's amazing. How exciting is this? And that lion is moving towards that other car. I'm going to just give them some space so they can maybe get a view. We'll see you all tomorrow morning for our sunrise safari. Thank you, everyone. Good night and goodbye.